rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Gary K from rAVe. I'm joined with Nick Jevons, who's East Coast account manager for ROE. Nick, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice and sunny out in California where I'm at right now, so can't complain.
It's sunny here too, but it's not, I wouldn't say nice. It's very, very, very humid like a lot of the East Coast. But
Yeah.
ROE is ROE Visual. Everyone knows you for the LEDs, and you're from the broadcast world. That's kind of like where your historical heritage comes from. And in the Pro AV world, you're known for big LEDs. But one of the cool things that you did at InfoComm, and obviously you've been involved in production forever, but is that you introduced or showed, I should say, the Black Pearl, which is a big giant LED specifically for virtual production.
Correct. This would be Black Pearl 2 version 2 specifically. It's sort of the panel we designed with all of the lessons we learned from the initial attempts at virtual production in the market with our Black Pearl 2 version 1 panel. Just to improve things like on-camera performance and some tweaks to the LED itself in order to make it look better on camera.
Well, the first one was impressive, so obviously this one is even better. And I think one of the key things about virtual production is sort of that timing of the camera with the content, right? I mean, because as your perspective as a human moves in the real world, the camera has to move as well. So that virtual background has to have that same perspective, and that tying that together is critical, right?
Correct. And so ROE can't take all of the credit for this, because really it's sort of every step in the chain matters, especially in virtual production, and especially when we're having to control things like power delivery down to the nanosecond, right? And so, huge shout out to the processing companies like Brompton and Megapixel, as well as, I mean, we were rocking a disguised media server at the show, which was handling all of the Unreal, handling all of the tracking via Stipe. So, I mean, big shout out to everyone in the chain. And at the end of the day, our job is to make sure that the image that we receive looks as good as possible. Everything else in the chain, though, is completely necessary.
Now, one nice thing about ROE is you can help make the connections on that chain, because obviously in the Pro AV world and virtual production applications like rental staging and even large corporate events, you can display, you can provide the display hardware, but there's also all those other components behind it that you have those relationships with. I would like to have everyone watch this video. We shot a video. We actually shot 8 videos on the show floor in the ROE booth. This one is impressive. This is the Black Pearl 2, as Nick mentioned, version 2. And this kind of gives you a perspective of how big this is and how big this can become. So let's roll that video really quickly so you can understand what this product does.
Hello, I'm Nick with ROE Visual. We're here at InfoComm in the North Hall at booth 833. I'm going to talk to you today about Black Pearl 2 version 2. This is our film-focused panel, developed off the same platform as Black Pearl 2, which was the original panel we were using in virtual production environments, but we took the lessons that we learned in the design of that panel and using it on various sets, and we applied it to the same form factor, but with different internals. This is an upgraded IC driver, as well as a slightly different LED package, more tuned towards dark set environments, packaged alongside high quality processing. If you have any more questions about the product in general, feel free to reach out to us at www.rovisual.com.
All right, so in addition to that product, Nick, we shot 7 other product videos on the show floor. Give us some of the highlights of sort of what's going on with ROE right now that we should be aware of.
I guess I can ping down through the rest of the chain. So, you have the other major launch for us, and this is more targeted towards the permanent installation market. It would be Opal. We targeted more creative installations with this one. I mean, it is ROE creative display. And this one comes in, different form factors, 300 by 300, 300 by 600, 600 by 300, 600 by 600, just so that you aren't necessarily as limited as you would have been in the past with the 16 by 9 aspect ratio panels or the 500 by 500 squares. It's just a little bit of extra versatility. And this sort of comes in both a 1.25 indoor, but also the 3 mil outdoor as well. because some of the demand that we're receiving is, they want a panel with the image quality of Black Pearl 2 version 2, but they don't want it to ever move. They want it to be, and I lost lighting.
That's okay.
They want it to be there forever, which means that you can change the framing, you can change the design, you can change the serviceability. The rental products need to be focused on going in, going out as fast as possible, and having that extremely robust frame. These are things that are not necessary for an installation panel. So that covers Opal. And then we did a product spot for that. But, there was also Amber and Jasper, which is two of our slightly older panels. Amber being the 16:9 form factor panel. But then also there's Jasper, which is the 500x500 classic 2.6 3.9 structure. And that one sort of took the build out of what would classically be in our rental inventory as Diamond 2.6 and sort of shifted that over into a permanent installation frame. So again, same image quality, same on-camera performance that you would receive there, but designed to go in and stay there. InfoComm's a little bit more focused on the permanent install side of things, of course, but like you said, our background, a lot of it comes from the rental and staging industry, which is where I was first introduced to rAVe before I even worked at rAVe. Mm-hmm. And for that side of things, on sort of the corporate indoor ballroom side of things, we launched Graphite. So Graphite is a new 2.6 panel from us. The big thing there is there's not too many quantum leaps that you can make in terms of image quality with LED at this point. But there are certainly still improvements that can be made on the serviceability side of things. And on that note, I guess there's also Carbon 5 Mark II. This sort of takes the original Carbon frame, makes a few tweaks to once again help with serviceability. It's backwards compatible. It still works with the touring frames that we've produced in the past, so you don't have to go out and buy those again. If you want to take advantage of the improvements that have been made, it's a simple matter of buying the panel itself. Lastly, I guess there's Ruby 2 from us, to keep it brief, but we also showed the 1.5 and the 2.3, and this is back to a classic 500x500 panel. And while Black Pearl 2 version 2 is sort of the push into where we're going with virtual production, the Ruby 1.5 and the Ruby 2.3 that we showed are more targeted towards the rental industry, again, where you need to be able to put them together, take them apart. And so lessons that we learned from the Black Pearl frame have been taken and put into the Ruby frame.
Excellent. So we actually shot videos on every single one of those products. There's a link in the description of this video cast where you can actually click on it. It'll take you to all 8 videos you can watch. Or, of course, you can go check it out all at rAVe's website. And you can check out all of our coverage of InfoComm at ravepubs.com/InfoComm 2022. Nick, thank you very much for the review and for the sort of like concise application differences between each of the pieces. But, of course, the Black Pearl was sort of like the flagship launch. And that was the first thing you saw when you came in your booth, was this giant virtual production stage application. So thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you very much, guys.
And thanks for watching all of our InfoComm coverage at ravepubs.com/InfoComm 2022.
rAVe Radio with